It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, I've got a question from Facebook from Edgar. He says, where does saving for our first home fall within the FOO? I plan on buying 5 to 6 years down the road and am using index funds as a holding spot for my down payment.
Okay, so where does it fall in the FOO? This is one, we kind of answered this question a little bit earlier, but life happens, right? So saving for a down payment, I don't think there is a step in the FOO where it happens. It's not like step one, save for a down payment, and then next step one, $1,000,
Right.
deductibles covered, right? I don't think that's the way that it works. I think it depends on your individual circumstance, because what happens is saving for a down payment is riddled all throughout the FOO. We had a question from someone earlier who was far along. They were on step 6, maxing out their employer retirement accounts. And we said, hey, maybe you need to go back a few steps and start saving for a down payment in order to be able to do that. So I don't know that it fits finitely inside of any one step, because you have to do what's right for your situation. So what I would do is I would step back from, at what step do I do it? And I'd step into, okay, when does it make sense for me to buy a house? Do I know that I'm going to be in this place, this location for the next 5 to 7 years? Because we think that real estate purchases, especially with where the market is right now, should be long-term decisions, right?
Yeah.
Because, who knows? We might go through another housing crisis. We may go through another pullback, and what you don't want to do is buy up here and then 3 years from now change jobs, get married, have kids, whatever the thing is, and have to relocate, and all of a sudden you're like underwater or your house has lost a lot of value. So one, make sure that you know where you're going to be, your circumstances that you're going to be in for the next 5 to 7 years, and then follow our rules of thumb. Make sure that your housing costs, what you're paying on a monthly basis towards housing, don't exceed 25% of your gross income. And if you can keep it inside that 25% realm, what that's going to do is that's going to leave some margin in your budget, likely, where you're going to be able to follow the other steps in the financial order of operations. So even though you might have to go back to step 2 or step 3 or step 4, not step 3, don't get credit card debt. Step 4, it's going to allow you to start building that back up. So
Right.
my answer is it fits all throughout the FOO, because life happens all throughout the FOO. We've never gotten this question, but I always wonder when someone's going to ask, hey, when does having a baby, what step is that in the FOO? Because it's kind of the same
Yeah,
sort of thing, right? It's not
Yeah.
finite and clear.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer.
No, thank
do
you.
you think
Thank
that
you.
he did say too, he said he was using index funds as a holding spot. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because he said he did not have a time certain when he was going to buy the house. He said he
He
thought
said
it's
5
5
to
to
6
6
years.
I,
But yeah,
I
we don't
actually
know.
don't hate that, right? So I don't mind. One of the things that after-tax investments allow us to do is it builds that third bucket for retirement, but it is a great holding spot for building to intermediate, unknown time certain goals. So I would still be building cash for my down payment, because I think that's prudent, but I'm okay if it's a 50-50 split. Half of the money goes to cash, but then half of it goes into a conservative, well-rounded dollar cost averaging strategy, so that I am actually letting that army of dollar bills grow. Because you'll be sick if you said, I'm going to put all my down payment in cash, and it sits there, and you don't buy a house for like 7 years or 8 years. There is some opportunity cost loss there. Dollar cost averaging allows you to capitalize no matter which way the market goes. If the market's going up, great, your previous contributions are making money. If the market's going down, great, you're buying in at lower and lower prices. It really is a win-win. So I don't think that's a horrible place to save for intermediate term goals like unknown down payments.
That's great.